Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review for The Last Graduate by Naomi Novik. We have Binks joining again because apparently none of my animals can be alone with their own thoughts. This is the second book in the Scholomance series, which is an adult fantasy series that follows teenagers in a magical high school. In this world, magic attracts monsters that will basically eat kids, kill them, and so the wizard families of the world, the big magician families, created this school years ago that keeps them safe but also is like very dangerous in its own way, and if you get out of there you're like pretty much gonna be okay, but this is following the kids that we're following at least last year in the school. Again, even though these are teenagers, this is an adult book. So I can't go into much detail about exactly what's going on. I will link my review for the first book on the screen if you are interested. This won't have any spoilers for this book, but it may for the first one. It will. So first off, we talk about the world building. The world building in this series I think is excellent. I really enjoy the world, and I think this is a very like world building focused series. This is a lot about the school and the different malls and the different magic and how it works and all of that. Different things that they can create. It's a lot of that, more so than I would say even like plot and character stuff, especially with this book. I think it balanced slightly better in the first book from what I remember. I did recently reread the first book in like the last 6 months or so. But this one seemed to, at least for the first half especially, focus way more on additional world building things and less, in my opinion, on character stuff. It has a little bit of second book syndrome in that it's sort of setting some things up, telling us more information for what the really big thing is going to be, I think, with the last book. Next, I'm gonna talk about our characters. I continue to really like our characters in this. Galadriel, who's our main character, is just like a, you know, grumpy kind of character. We have Orion, who is sort of like the love interest, someone that she really didn't like in the first book. They are sort of figuring each other out. He's a little bit of golden retriever energy, but also just like very focused. And so like their dynamic is still kind of interesting, but they are sort of dancing around each other for a lot of this, and really much more focused on Galadriel and her like whole thing. And we also have like her friend group, which I think is really nicely fleshed out in this. We get more of them, we get more of the importance of them. So this isn't primarily a love story by any means, or like the romance isn't a really big deal by any means. It's much more about the connections and keeping people safe in this world. So we get much more of the different inner workings of like the enclaves and lore and things, and then again how these different interactions and things are going to impact the outer world, not just the school setting. Last, we talk about the plot. Like I said, a lot of world building elements in here, but I would say the first part of this didn't like drag necessarily, but just wasn't as interesting as I found the first book to be. Like it was a lot just building on some stuff that we already knew. But once we got more towards the end, we started to get some like reveals happening. We start to see sort of character arcs being fleshed out. I still ended up really enjoying this installment. I like what it set up for the final book, and this does end on a cliffhanger. So know that if you are going to be reading the series. The last book's out now, so you're fine. But I think some of the twists that this takes and the different ways that this goes sort of twists expectations on its head a little bit, which is quite fun. And yeah, I'm interested to see what the final book holds, since it is definitely expanding the world even more outside of like just the school setting, since they are getting ready for graduation in this one. So overall, I would say this is like a 3.75 to a 4-star. When I reread the first one, it went up in my feelings to like a 5-star. So this might also be one that on reread I would like it more. I don't know, I probably won't end up rereading this, just going to the final one. So yeah, 3.75 to 4 stars. So comment below and let me know what you thought of The Last Graduate. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.